Welcome everyone to my top 5 MCU Iron Man S.H Figuarts, where I've compiled a list of my favorite Tony Stark Iron Man armors from the brand Bandai Tamashii Nations. And even though they have made a huge list of MCU characters, Iron Man is the one they've created the most, so I think it's time to create a list of my favorites to go in your display. And this might not necessarily be my favorite Iron Man armor like the Iron Man Mark 42, which is one of my favorites in the movies, but it's not quite enough to make the list. So I will base this on the sculpt, accuracy, accessories, and what I think would look best in your collection if you're looking to pick up maybe only one or two Iron Man figures. And before I begin with my top 5, I will give a special mention to 3 figures. First up on the special mentions list is the Iron Man Mark V from the movie Iron Man 2, and this is the moment when Tony Stark transformed into the suit from the briefcase. So it's a pretty memorable suit with the all red and silver, as it's quite unique. I really like the way it's built and it's really slick in terms of the design, and it does include the briefcase as well. The reason why I didn't quite make the list is if you're looking for like a classic Iron Man, I definitely want one in the red and gold colors. The next special mention is the Tony Stark figure from Iron Man 3, and this is from one of my favorite scenes in the trilogy when he puts on the armor whilst playing the music. So it's definitely very iconic in terms of the way he wears the suit. And even though it's not a Iron Man armor, I feel it's a quite important figure to have. Whatever armor you have in your collection, I think it's always nice to have a Tony Stark figure next to it. So even though it's not on my list, it's definitely one I recommend. And the last special mention is the Iron Man Mark 50. The one I have here is the Nano Weapon Set 2 from the Endgame line. Of course, they did release multiple versions for the Infinity War line as well. And this one didn't quite make the list because I do have ones that are quite similar and just better. But in terms of the quality, the look, the iconic scenes, this is a definite must in terms of your Infinity War line. And this is of course the first time he had nanotech, and this figure just simply had many different accessories, launchers, so it's definitely worth a mention, and I would consider it if you don't like the ones in my top 5 list. So in at number 5 is the Iron Man Mark 1 from the first movie Iron Man, and even though it is the first armor that Tony Stark wore, this was only released about 2 years ago under the Birth of Iron Man series. And even though I did say that the Iron Man Mark V didn't have the classic red and gold colors, I feel that this one is just too iconic to not have in your list. And not only for that, I feel that the build and sculpt of this armor is amazing in terms of the accuracy to the live action. It also includes plenty of the flame effects and also flight effects. And inside you can see the eyes of Tony Stark, and if you're looking to pose this next to a Tony Stark figure, you can of course also take that out, so it looks like it's an empty armor. In at number 4 is the Iron Man Mark 7 from Avengers Assemble, and Bandai did re-release this in a new colorway, but I believe the original is the more accurate look to the movie. What I like about this iconic suit is not only was it the one he wore in the final battle of New York, you can pretty much have a lot of fun with this figure, as it's not only interchangeable hands and blaster effects, you can really switch up the gadgets on the arms and legs, as well as move around the jetpack for the flight poses. And since this is the Mark 7, it goes really well in a display with your other Avengers. In at number 3 is the Iron Man Mark 4 from Iron Man 2, and even though the suit up is a minor update from the Mark 3 in the first movie, what sets this one apart is the amount of accessories is included. And out of the first 7 Iron Man armors, this is the only one that includes a Tony Stark head sculpt, which does include the one with the sunglasses. You also get a box of donuts, which you can then create that iconic scene. And knowing that this figure is quite rare and expensive now, it's really nice to have in my collection. In at number 2 is the Iron Man Mark 6, this time from the Avengers Assemble line, which is a newly released version in 2021 compared to the original in the Iron Man 2 line. And what I like about this figure in particular is you get the battle damage look, which is very rare in your Iron Man figures, so both the helmet and the chest can be replaced for the normal look. And not only that, I think it's quite unique in terms of the overall sculpt and paint, and just like the Mark 7, this one goes well with the rest of the Avengers. And now for my number one pick for the Iron Man S.H. Figuarts, it is the Iron Man Mark 85, the Final Battle Edition from the Avengers Endgame line. And this is one of the 3 Mark 85s released from Bandai, having improved on the original edition and being released before the I Am Iron Man edition. And I believe this is the best Iron Man S.H. Figuarts, as it has the full package with the different accessories, Tony Stark head sculpt, the jetpack with the blaster effects, which really upgrades the display, and overall the battle damage look. And this is the Iron Man suit which looks closest to the comics, with most of the gold on the arms and legs. So overall, this is the best Iron Man S.H. Figuarts, as I believe it will go well in any display, and especially with the rest of the Avengers around it. So that is my top 5 Iron Man S.H. Figuarts in my collection. Of course, this is my personal opinion, everyone has different preferences. Even though I like all my Iron Man armors, I feel these 5 are the best in terms of the sculpt, accessories, and what goes well in your display. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.